predicted. It almost slipped through their fingers there at the end. A very scary ace coming through for G2 along with the Baron, but a little bit of composure, finding the right engage afterwards, and able to push down the mid lane for a victory. Kobe, looks like you want to jump in right away.
I mean, this is just such a fun team comp as well from the Marines. This is one of those ones where you're having a lot of fun theory crafting. You're like, oh my goodness, you know, it could work really nice with the Zed going in, starting off Galio. Then he can keep them in place for Zig ultimates. But do those, you know, theory crafted team comps ever really manifest on the Rift? And yes, they do multiple times here for the Marines. Just so impressive.
Big risk pays off.
I mean, Perks and Sven are just an ELO hell here. It's like when you queue up for a solo queue game and there's Master Yi, Yasuo, Zed on the enemy team, and you're the AD carry, and you're like, can I roll swap with someone? Because at the end of the day, the dive was so strong. This is the quintessential Gigabyte Marines comp because everyone, the Kha'Zix, the Zed, could all dive in, and the damage reduction made their job even more reliable.
And that's when you go AD carry Rammus. Frost, what do you got for me?
I just love how it also kind of shores up what the Gigabyte Marines have been struggling with the entire competition, which is really their macro play. And when you have the ability to play a 1-3-1 because you have a Zed there who can kick out to a side lane, and then you also have the Ziggs who can just burn down structures, it completely band-aids over, you know, any of those problems. So not only are they comfortable on these champions, but it just helps improve them across the board.
Absolutely. And we have to take a second to recognize where this team started coming into the tournament. Again, completely discounted from even the play-ins. People were saying there's no chance this team makes the groups, let alone competes in the groups. And here they are, not only succeeding with wins, but also in their development of play. Fun stat here for you. Galio was banned by the Gigabyte Marines in 8 out of their 15 games in the play-ins. They also never played it themselves, and it was never banned against them. So the fact that they have also been able to learn up on champions, theory craft these comps, and then put them into practice here to success is mind-blowing.
And they have multiple examples of good late game. You know, their win versus EE, now versus G2. As you said, they're playing to their strengths, and they're no longer this, oh, they always get these early leads, but, you know, don't worry about it. Now you really do have to worry.
Absolutely have to worry about it. Let's go ahead and take a look at some footage here. The first one, 24 minutes into the game, 4 for 2 near the blue buff.
And again, this is the comp we were talking about when it comes to dive. Trick Dive's instantly not respecting that Zed could be there. The heroic engage comes through. The entrance, like you said, comes in.
I got you.
It certainly was an entrance there. It means that Zed doesn't die because of the damage reduction. Already 5 points in that ability because level 14 is Stark, and it's just madness for G2 to deal with.
I mean, Zed doesn't normally have that much permission to stay in the fight, right? Typically it's assassination, get out, but you see Optimus very comfortable to stick in the fight that much longer.
And then Levi hops in the back. He's like, everyone's getting in here. Let me pile in on this.
The double assassin you got with the Galio to follow them up, it's very comforting.
And the Ziggs, which Ziggs is basically like a burst AD carry, one of the, you know, the very few that you can get from that bottom roll. It just really does, you know, play into their style.
And what it does is it relegates G2's composition where Syndra and Zyra can no longer look to be like those damage threats on the front line. They're relegated to protecting the back line. You know, Syndra almost has to be the pseudo Cassiopeia, standing next to the Ashe, making sure that if you come back, she can stop you with the scat of the week. And Zyra's like, okay, you know, he's flashing on the wall trying to catch the exhaust, where he's just trying to use his ultimate to create zone and space for Sven. And it almost worked.
Now control and dominance for the Gigabyte Marines up into the point that we saw that replay. But again, we have to remember the 5-person ace from G2 plus the Baron. So now let's go ahead and take a look at our ace replay, the game ender, the strike back from the Gigabytes in the mid lane.
And look, G2 had played out of their minds like they did the last time. They'd taken it to late game. They thought they could stick the landing with 2 really good team fights. But this time, Optimus gets access to the back line, and Stark's there as well.
And that's the thing, you know, it's almost unexcusable that Sven does survive so long in the fight with how many reaches to the backline that they get. But again, credit, look at where Mithy and Perks were. They were creating that space for Zen, trying to allow him to get into position to walk down the front line tanks. But unfortunately, G2 ended up, you know, overstaying their welcome, overreaching, and then being punished by the reinforcements.
I mean, Levi has gone for so many of these Rambo dashes in that this was the fact that it was Ziggs was there for the alley-oop to actually pick up the first kill. Optimus there has his ult up from the previous clip as well. And they get the cleanup, and it felt like it was against the run of play, but because they'd had so much of it, and because G2 had to do so many skillful outplays just to wrestle back some fights, it still was the right winners in the end.
And just look at the spike in on the gold graph there. That's how big of a comeback G2 had just mounted there. It was so incredible.
8K in like the span of 2 minutes.
Yep.
That is ridiculous. So the fact that they were even able to do that, I mean, for G2, it will be tough to deal with that loss mentally, having won that, that fight there and had the control back in the game. Of course, for Gigabytes, I mean, they're just moving through this tournament, and at this rate, still very much a contender for 4th or above.
It kind of goes back to that mentality. We've been saying this throughout the day, the tournament meta, who can actually, take that square block and fit it into the round hole and shape it to fit that. But Gigabyte Marines, they don't care. They're like, we could play the tournament meta or we could just play what we're good at. We're going to stick with our style that we use domestically, and it's working here on the international stage. And I wish the other teams would take a page out of their book. Just go back to what you're good at.
And it's just cool that, as we said right at the start of this segment, they add the Galio in just like the Gragas they love, just like the Kennen, a lane control champion. Now it's not Stark being exposed. They're increasing their champion pools that still have the same identity. And that's why it's heartening to see, because they can play League of Legends one way, but flexibly in that one way. They have enough different things they can plug in that 3 bans, 5 bans aren't enough to stop the Gigabyte Marines from playing their own game.
Absolutely not. An impressive and exciting victory there for the Gigabyte Marines. Now to get the pros' perspective on that win, we've got Shock standing by with Gigabyte's mid laner.
Thank you very much, guys. Joined here by Optimus, the mid laner for the Gigabyte Marines after a huge win over G2 in a game that turned very, very tricky. Can you talk to me through how fights got harder for you as well, and how in the end you guys managed to find the opening and the win?
Thì chúc mừng em đã chiến thắng trước G2 ha. Thì mình nói lại là tại sao cái trận đấu này trở nên quá khó khăn như vậy và như thế nào để em đã cố gắng để kết thúc được nó.
Trận đấu này khó khăn thì có lẽ là bởi vì em đã không làm tốt được cái vai trò của mình ở vị trí đường giữa và em đã mắc khá là nhiều sai lầm, và may mắn là 4 người đồng đội còn lại đã gồng gánh em.
Yeah, so the game turned harder because I failed to perform as the mid laner, but lucky for me that the other teammates have helped me.
And in the end, you guys close it out by a very decisive call. Once again, that's how we come to know and love the play style of the Gigabyte Marines. Is there ever in the comms someone who says, guys, we need to slow down, we need to take this easy, or is it just always see hero, kill hero, and it seems to be working so far?
Thì khúc cuối trận á mình chọn một cái con thôi là mình đã end the game rồi. Thì có bao giờ trong cái đội hình của mình mà mình chọn một cái bài mà đánh chậm lại hơn, hay là lúc nào mình cũng đánh là nhìn thấy nó là phải giết nó?
Bởi vì có những lúc cả đội cũng muốn đánh chậm, nhưng mà cả đội chỉ mới gắn kết được với nhau không quá lâu, nên vì vậy cái việc mà lối đánh mà táo bạo và nhanh của cả đội nó chưa được sự gắn kết các thành viên lại. Vì vậy cả đội thường xuyên mắc lỗi vị trí, mà em nghĩ trong tương lai thì cả đội của em sẽ cố gắng gắn kết hơn nữa và sẽ đánh cái lối đánh nhanh đó một cách tốt hơn, chứ không phải là tụi em sẽ đánh chậm lại.
Yeah, so sometimes we wish that we can play slower, but because our play style, our team is very new as well. So playing early on is kind of like our play style, and I wish in the future, I hope in the future that we can get better and synergy better, and then we can play even more aggressively.
Well, you still have 2 matches tomorrow, and you could very well move on. You have a great chance to move on to the next round. You wore that flag when I spoke to you last, and you guys moved on to the group stage, and you said, I want to just make Vietnam even prouder, and you're on the brink of doing that. So what are the chances of you guys moving on, and how hard will you be able to show up versus WE and Flash Wolves tomorrow?
Thì lần trước phỏng vấn em có đeo cờ Việt Nam đúng không? Thì cái nói chung là em cũng gần tới được cái mức là đem Việt Nam lên vinh quang của thế giới rồi. Thì cái khả năng nào em nghĩ là Việt Nam có thể vào được vòng sau?
Hiện tại thì phong độ của em không được tốt nên em đang khá là mất tự tin, nhưng mà em sẽ cố gắng hết sức để có thể ngày mai có thể giành được 2 chiến thắng và có thể đưa cho đội tuyển cũng như là đội tuyển Gigabyte Marine nói riêng và Gigabyte Marine và cũng nói chung là đội tuyển đến từ Việt Nam có thể vào được top 4.
Yeah, so right now my performance is not up to par yet. So I lost a lot of confidence, but I hope that I can regain next time and make Vietnam as well as the whole region stronger.
Well, we will be looking out for that. Thank you very much. An amazing victory here again by the Gigabyte Marines. We're going to take a quick break, but SKT versus TSM is coming up next, so stay put.
He played horribly, didn't do anything. Now he's under pressure, and he's going in.
Goes for the ultimate, dodges out the last 2 balls of that, but it's not going to be enough. Allows maybe to get out here, but it is going to still be a hit. The taunt onto Perks. Stark is gigantic, and he's delivering the kill. Top lane not pushing too fast. Flashes in. Optimus in a very scary spot here to start things off with the exhaust down. Draws a lot of abilities towards himself, though, so the team can try to get in safely. Not deciding what they want to do, but now the power 3